So I've been going to electrolysis every week. I only get one appointment a week. I was hoping I could get it done faster than what it's going, but uh, I'm doing my best. The recording I meant to do yesterday, and I totally just forgot. So today's the 19th, and this electrolysis it's still not too bad. Like, it's still stingy and stuff. We haven't gotten to the quote unquote sensitive side, this side over here yet. We're still on this side. I don't know if it's even visible, but it's basically all like this right here. Like this whole section right here. Um in a month. That's as much as there is. It basically is going slower than I had hoped. Um because the electrician, the per, I guess they're not called an electrician. The electrolysis tech, whoever the person is called, their job title, because they have essentially a right-handed, use of their arm, which is normal, and it's on my left side. It's a little awkward for them to do it. They usually do genitals and face, so doing my arm is a little of a learning curve for them, and it's going slower than I wish, but at least it's still going. I had some scares with my health insurance, and essentially, when my now ex wife, which is still hard for me to say, left and got a new religion and stuff, um, they didn't take her off of my information, and so when I went to do my annual renewal, it all looked like it was fine, everything was good, and then they kept saying, "Oh no, it's not fine, it's not good, but it is fine." And I figured out it was because she was still on there and they were trying to get information about her. And I told them, just take her off. It's only me. Um, so yeah, the divorce finalized this month, and I I've been a little down about it because the person that I originally married just doesn't exist anymore. She's like completely changed personality and changed religion and everything, and doing things that are just 100% different than what she would have wanted or done before. And I still haven't had contact with her, but other people are telling me things that are just like really hard for me to hear, who still have contact with her. And um it's really, really hard to know that. And I thought I knew our marriage date, but apparently I was off by a year, which means that I was off by a year for how long we were together, which means that instead of almost a decade, it's actually almost 11 years, 11 and a half years or whatever. And I don't know if any of it would have happened if I didn't transition. And that's really hard to know. But at the same time, I've thought about it a lot, and I've realized that our entire relationship might have been her needing a safe place to go so that she could get back to that place, because at one point she was part of that religion, and someone did not good things. Multiple people did not good things to her, and I essentially rescued her from that and took her in so that she wouldn't have to have people do bad things to her anymore. And she saved my life because I was not at all in a good place. I was so messed up, and we like saved each other, and I wish I could get that person back somehow. And she's not dead, but she is gone. Like, I can't even say, oh, I could chase after her and beg her and try to convince her or something, because she's not even the same person. And I needed to transition for more than just gender dysphoria. I have medical health issues that have been drastically improved. Like, I was born abnormal, and the abnormalities were harming me, and getting rid of all of those things has been extremely beneficial for my overall health. But it has been depressing. It has been sad. And just because I've been depressed, it doesn't mean that my years and years of a lifetime of depression have come back or anything. I think, in actuality, I think it's valid to feel sad when you're grieving the loss of something. And I don't feel like it's forever. I don't feel like this hopelessness of I'll be depressed for always. Um, I do worry that the urge to worry about her and the urge to be willing to destroy myself for her, it might never go away. And that's not great. um, I do hope that I'm wrong and that that does go away. It's like I'll be just doing normal stuff, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I can't breathe. It just hits me so hard. And I know it's not wanted, I know it's not appreciated, I know it doesn't matter, but it still happens. And it's not like a deniable thing, it's just part of my life at this point. My transition, has not been easy for me, not just because of her, though. Like, almost every single person I'm related to has not exactly been the most accepting. I have one aunt out of like I don't even know how many aunts who has accepted it, and I have zero uncles out of I don't know how many uncles. I have at least 200, like, between uncles and aunts and cousins. At least 200 family members, and nothing. Um, I had some cousins who accepted me when they thought I was a lesbian, but this is too far, apparently. They don't accept me anymore. Um, which is ironic because being a lesbian was definitely like something I chose to do because I was attracted to women, and I thought that's what, if you're attracted to women, you have to do. And being born with characteristics of both male and female was not something I got to decide. Um, so I find that weird. I have some siblings who accept me, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And I have some siblings who don't necessarily. Um, One of them came to visit. I was very surprised. What actually happened is we had this festival thing where I live, and I invited my siblings and stuff to come and hang out. And when they came to hang out, I was like, okay, cool, and but one of them got there a little later, and when he was coming, I was like, oh, I see his head above the crowd. He has bright red hair, and so he's taller than everybody else for the most part. So I was like, oh, I see him. And then as I got closer, I was like, oh, there's this kid walking next to him who looks like my nephew who I haven't seen in years. I was like, hey, do you see how much that kid looks like our nephew, who lives in Florida, who I haven't seen in forever? And, the kid just starts laughing, and he's like, yeah, and look what's behind me. And behind him was my baby brother, who I haven't seen in like 4 years. So it was very exciting. I was super happy to see him. I haven't seen him forever. So that was a very, very cool surprise. Like, he was like, "Oh, I'm bringing a surprise for everybody," and so I thought, he was trying to indicate it might be like donuts or something, and no, it was that my baby brother had a layover on a flight to somewhere else, and him and my oldest of his children, him and my nephew, were gonna be coming to the festival for a little bit during the layover, and I'd get to see them, so that was really nice. But he actually asked me how things were going. He has never asked me ever, ever. Um, he when I told him about transitioning stuff, he was like, "Well, I guess I'll call you the name you want to be called, but I do not accept it. And you just need to know that I think it's wrong, and that's not going to change." And he was very upfront about the fact that he thought it was evil and all that stuff. That he thought it was he wasn't going to respect it or whatever. Um, and so it surprised me that he asked how it was going. And the first time he asked how I was, I kind of just talked about life a little bit, but he then asked me again, and he seemed more intent on how was my health going, how was transition going and stuff. So I talked to him about it. I told him a little bit, and he seemed way more accepting. I don't know if it's because it's been years. I don't know if stuff has changed in his heart. I don't know if he was just being polite. I don't know. He wasn't he wasn't comfortable. I won't say he's like, "Oh yeah, this easy peasy," but he seemed to have somehow worked through some sort of resistance about it. I don't know if he looked up what intersex means. I don't know if he decided that me transitioning because I'm intersex makes me less trans somehow or something, which I've had a huge dilemmas before thinking about that myself. So I don't know. He's coming from a religious standpoint. Maybe he's looking for ways for me to not be hellbound. He's looking for ways for me to not be sinful. Yeah, because I do think underneath the religion hurdle, he does care. So it was nice to see him be caring like that, but it was a little bit still not comfortable kind of a thing for him. I talked to him about that the surgeries helped me a lot. I talked to him about how much their hormones had helped me. He and I, we both had asthma when we were growing up, and his asthma mostly went away by him moving to somewhere as warm as Florida. Cold air, he automatically is asthmatic again. So him trying to keep his lungs in warmer environments has helped him tremendously with his asthma. Going on testosterone helped me tremendously with mine. I had asthma and then started taking hormone therapy, and it cured a lot of things for me that were health problems, and asthma was one of them. And he was very surprised by that, and I told him about my bone density and how that had improved, and my teeth had improved quite a bit, and stuff like that. And he was very interested. He was very like, "Oh, that's that well, good." He seemed surprised, but he I know he was being more accepting than usual because he misgendered me one time, and I said, I got a beard, bro." And he gave me a hug, and he laughed a little, and he said, "I'm sorry. It's like years of habit I'm trying to unlearn here." And I said, "That's okay. I get that." And that was like, it was almost like a warm thing, which was very, um, it gave me a ton of hope. It gives me hope that is it's hopefully an overcomable hurdle. Now his wife was not there, and his wife is extremely more religious than him. Um, and he's pretty religious. So, um, I don't know if it's just because she wasn't there. My my nephew didn't even remember me at first, and then the more he remembered me, the more I could tell he was having to like switch in his brain the way I looked before, because before I looked like a, a very butch lesbian, and now, I definitely look more male. And so I could tell he had to reconcile that a little bit, but he was all right. He's a little young teen. um, but he seemed super happy just to be there, and we didn't really talk about it at all. We mostly talked about like him visiting, and he was actually born here, so it was really exciting for him to come back here and be like, oh my gosh, I've been there before, or oh, I remember the directions of how to go there, or that stuff. So he really wanted to get a shirt from here because he was like, I remember the mountains. He was so excited because where they live in Florida, there ain't no mountains. And up here in the Northwest, we've got mountains and evergreen trees, and he um, he was very, very excited. He hasn't been here since, well, he hasn't lived here. I think he's come to visit, but he hasn't lived here since he was like 6. So you could tell he there's a part of him that kind of misses it here. So who knows? Maybe once he becomes an adult, he'll want to live here. I don't know. He might just go into business with his dad too, though. My youngest brother is a successful entrepreneur, businessman, kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it was extremely good to see them. And it was, I told my brother who brought them from the airport and surprised me. I was like, this was an excellent surprise. And he's like, what do you mean? All I did was not tell you. But I never thought I would have even as positive of a conversation as I did with my baby brother about this, and him be curious, and the curiosity override the dis- distaste. And I don't know, that was very. I talked to him a lot, and we didn't just talk about that. We talked about a ton of stuff. We caught up as much as we could, you know, for a few hours, and I super appreciated that. But it was part of the talking. It was one of the conversations, and I never thought I would get to have that with him. So it was really, really nice. I had an unexpected happiness in regards to trans stuff. So that was cool. I am trying to get a little bit more work because I feel like I'm not earning enough right now. I'm like barely earning enough, like just barely. So that's not good. I would like to earn more than just barely, um, which means trying to find some way to work more that it works around that. I have electrolysis appointments and doctor's appointments. I have a doctor's appointment coming up soon, and I'm going to get my labs done again and all of that kind of stuff. I might make a video after that, or I might just wait till the 18th of next month and try to remember to talk about it. We will see. But I do have basically you know, a check. Let's see how your testosterone's still affecting your body, check over all that kind of stuff. So that's coming up with my doctor. Not this week, I think next week, actually. I think it's on like the 27th or the 29th, or I don't remember the exact day. But the point is it's some point next week. But the electrolysis, even though it is not going as fast as I would like, it is at least going. I have almost no hairs recurring. Instead of continuing to just do the whole arm and then go back and do it again for little recurring hairs, she tries to get rid of some of the recurring hairs and then go forward. So the majority of this is staying nice and smooth. I have like right now currently on the whole of the electrolysis part, I have like like maybe 9 little recurring hairs out of the entire, like it, this much space here, and then it goes around my arm a little bit, and then like this much, it's so hard, it goes around my arm a little bit, so like that wide and that 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 long. So so I'll take that, but yeah, it means it's going a little slower because of that. I've always had pretty good growing hairs or whatever, so yeah, if I shave, it all comes back super fast, kind of stuff. So, I mean, I had hoped that it would only need one time, but I didn't actually expect that at all. I'm just hoping it doesn't take 3 go overs for each hair follicle. And some of the hair follicles seem to have stayed gone, which is awesome. That's great. So, more of that, please, arm. But I don't get to decide that. My arm hairs are gonna grow how they're gonna grow. But it's been going well, and I just use a exfoliating scrub that is like strawberry seeds and sugar or whatever on it afterwards in the shower, and then after that I take one of those little vitamin E's and I cut off the end and take the sticky honey insides and cover it up with that. It's been going good. So at least it's going good, even if it's going slow. Progress is progress. For everything else with the transition stuff, it's fine. It's the same, however you want to say that. Hasn't really changed. It did get to my 1-year anniversary for my top surgery, and my 1-year anniversary for top surgery was basically like a week ago, and that was kind of like, oh, cool. I took off my shirt in public for the first time this month, and I only did it for like 12 seconds, but I I didn't feel that comfortable, but it wasn't necessarily the scars, it's that I just didn't feel that comfortable. I've been losing some weight, I've been exercising more, but I would like to start working on building up some muscle again. I just really feel more comfortable when I have muscle. Like, super, super more comfortable. And I don't even have to have like a bodybuilder amount of muscle or anything like that. I just, right now, I don't feel like I don't have, I don't feel strong. And feeling strong just really is impactful for me. So, I have started doing a little bit of my brother 1 year for Christmas got me arm weights, and I have been using those and stuff. And gonna start maybe pivoting away from weight loss as much and go for muscle a little more, because I really miss feeling stronger, and I think I would feel better once I had that feeling. Um, it's easier. It's easier when you feel strong. Anyway, uh, that's pretty much it though. So yeah, thanks for watching.